It's hard to create consistently high quality content when the definition of high quality means something different for every single business owner using social media to grow their business. While one business owner is using their phone to create content, there's another business owner investing their hard-earned money into what social media coaches would call overproduced content. So who is right, and what does high quality content look like for my niche, and how can I create it consistently for my business? We're going to get through this together in episode 16 of today's podcast. Welcome to the Creators Initiative podcast. And it's been a while. I went on sabbatical. I'm just kidding. I didn't go on sabbatical. I somehow ended up traveling from Florida to Las Vegas to Knoxville to possibly New York for a job. And I was tired. I was just tired. I just accepted, not defeat, but just, hey, it's not going to happen. We're not going to get these podcasts batch recorded for this month, for the month of July. So we're going to start over in August, and that is okay. It is okay. Also, too, went back to the drawing board. Got, what is it when I say? I dived deep into my purpose, I think. Yeah, that's what I want to say. Figure out some things. I bought a nice glass whiteboard with white, markers. So, I really could just get into, mind mapping. Yeah, so anyway, welcome to the Creators Initiative podcast, where we have a raw and authentic conversation about creating intentional media our way to grow our personal brands or business. I am your host, DP, editor, unintentional part 10. I can never say it. It's a tongue twister, and I need to rewrite it. But anywho, I am your host, DP, editor, entrepreneur, and unintentional part-time content creator, Leah Low. And in today's podcast, I am going to define what is high quality content, why you should be creating it, and how to do it without burnout. So sit back, relax, and multitask, because that's what I do when I listen to podcasts on YouTube or anywhere. What's anywhere? What does that mean? I mean, when Spotify and Apple. Don't worry about it. Anyway, just sit back, relax, multitask while taking away some helpful information to grow awareness and build trust online with your brand and business. Okay. So let's define what high quality content is. Okay, so is high quality content visually appealing? Or is it just clear messaging? Or is it both? Let me run back through that again one more time for the people in the back. Not really, because there's nobody in the back. But what is high quality content? Is it just the visuals? Is it just a clear message? Or is it both? I'm going to tell you right now, spoiler alert, it is both. Okay? Very important to be both visually appealing and also have a very clear message. But let's dive deep into what visually appealing looks like and what a clear message is. So visuals aren't about looks. Visuals are about taking your service, your product, or message and making it look its best with a purpose. That's why you see, some creators, some business owners using their cell phones and seeing success. And you also see other business owners, who have a team of creatives using Cinema-Line cameras, using drones, POV drones, they got everything at their disposal to create content with a purpose. But that's the point. It's with a purpose. If you use your cell phone or you use a Cinema-Line camera, as long as you use it with a purpose, it's going to transform a stranger into a buyer or a client. Of course, there's a lot in the middle there, but if we just keeping it simple today and not, just bombarding you with a lot of information where you just give up immediately, create content with a purpose, have a clear message, therefore change lives. Okay. But anyway, that's what I want to say, is that truly visuals are way more than just making something look dope, make something look cool, I don't know what the kids are saying these days, but it's way more than what it looks like, but it's actually making sure you're filming your content with a purpose. And also clear messaging is not just about clarity, not just being clear, hey, I have a salon and I do hair. Ooh, wow, transcendent. You're a salon and you do hair. Of course you do hair. But if we get in the nitty gritty of what you do at your salon, you do more than hair. You have silk presses for the ethnic people here, okay? You have silk pressage, you know, you do sew-ins, you know, and that's about as far as it goes for me because I am very simple. I do silk press in the winter and I get my braids done in the summer. So I don't know what else everybody else is doing, but that's what I do. So I can't even dive deep into that. But as you see, this example I was trying to make is that you do way more than just hair. You provide special services. So let me stop before I go down a rabbit hole because I do have an outline here and I want to stick with it. But yeah, okay, clear message isn't just about clarity, but effectively communicating what you do, who you serve, and what problem you solve. And typically in fewer words. That's the one that always wins. If you can do it in fewer words, you're an amazing individual. But that's really why we're here on social media and creating content, is because we're trying to give you all these different pieces of content, constantly teaching you what it is that we do, the different facets of what we do, the different facets of our business and what we do. And I hope that made sense because I'm saying it before I really think about it. And I'm going to keep doing it because I need to, I don't know, reassure my own self of what I'm talking about. Because I know what I'm talking about, but sometimes it doesn't translate. And that's why I'm here on this podcast, to get that practice so that it makes sense. And I don't second guess myself on making sure that I made it make sense and I didn't lose you. So anywho, now when you combine the perfect, I'm going to keep that. I'm going to keep it. Okay, when you combine the purpose-driven visuals with a clear and effective message, it gives you the high-quality content across all social media platforms. So let's just do a little math problem or something, okay? Purpose-driven visuals plus clear and effective messaging equals high-quality content. So let me give you an example here. I was on the good old social medias, following my favorite creators and business owners. And I came across, I didn't come across, I was really not stalking, but just trying to find an example of pretty much, if you've been on this pod for a hot minute, I talk about Ryan way too much. Maybe not way too much, because I realized I scrapped a podcast episode that I felt like was just nothing but that. But big fan of Ryan Serhant, been following him since his, is it Selling New York? I think it is Selling New York. There's so many reality shows for, real estate that I don't know, because I think it's it probably wasn't Selling New York. $1 Million Listing. See, I made it up. So $1 Million Listing, New York. So I've been following him for a while. But a video that I have here is just him doing a simple iPhone walkthrough, with some added voiceover, for a house in the Hamptons. And as I've looked at this video a couple of times and kind of just studied it, first and foremost, the house will cost you $175,000 a month. So it's a rental. Good luck with that. Can barely afford 24 right now. So there's that. And that makes me kind of sick because I knew that rent was not that expensive that long ago, but we're not going to talk about that. We're not going to get all depressed about that. We're going to focus on this right here. But yeah, it was just a quick walkthrough of the house. And so obviously the first thing that I noticed is that it was shot on an iPhone, with a gimbal, which is really important. And it's just this trend right now on social media where it's just this increased, I'm trying to find the fancy words to explain it rather than just it's just sped up footage, but it's sped up footage. It's a almost somewhat hyperlapse of the video, but it's increased by at least 2%, 2.5. But when I see this video here of him just walking through this Hampton house, first things first, let's talk about the highlights. I'm going to put a little key or something to the left or right of me, explaining these terms that I use that are what are you talking about? So just pause the video, refer to that if you're watching on YouTube. And if not, well, I guess you're just out of luck. I might just put it in the description. But anyway, first things first, when you see this video, he's the video's well exposed on an iPhone, which is something that you can do, which I guess I make a YouTube video about it, but will not explain it on the podcast because that'll just be complicated. But anyway, for simplicity's sake, It's well exposed. The highlights are not blown out, so you see that beautiful blue sky, and you see the lovely white clouds and the luscious green trees that are coming up out of the ground of this property, and the pool to the left and the walkway to the right. It's really nice. You walk in, stairs, very modern, nice open kitchen, nice open floor plan. Once you show you that, turns you around and then walks you back through, makes a point to look at this tiger rug and this bathroom, how nice it is with this green accents. Like I get the vibe of it, but the whole purpose is with this walkthrough is that it's just a smartphone. It's a smartphone that gives you the best image quality, but is an extra investment because you already own it, and there isn't a learning curve because you use it regularly. And then you pair the smartphone with a gimbal because you still want professional footage even through an iPhone. So pairing that smartphone with a gimbal will give you smooth and professional shots, because shaky iPhone footage is not okay. It's not a whole deal. So it's worth the investment. And I want to say that like typically like iPhone gimbals are like $147. And then of course he added a voiceover to sell the home rather than the home trying to sell itself, with subtitles for better engagement on social media. And so that's the purpose-driven visuals with Ryan using just his cell phone. Because if you go on his YouTube, it's a whole different production. It's a whole different vibe. He definitely invests in the videography and the cinematography. He has branding, especially has a Ryan signature listing versus like his just regular listings. It's everything has a purpose. Everything has a strategy behind it and has a signature look to it. And most importantly, not only, with purpose-driven visuals with a smartphone that has highest quality, but something that you already have, then also investing a little bit of money into the cell phone, into the gimbal to use with the cell phone, and then adding the voiceover to sell the house even more on top of the subtitles for just better engagement, better user-friendly experience, but also adding the clear and effective message, which was, this is what $175,000 a month gets you in the Hamptons, which is a modern beach luxury. So if you're gonna use your iPhone to shoot content, because number one, shooting anything iPhone footage, especially on social media, studies say that it has a more personal touch. So like mixing that in with your cinematic content is a good idea. But here's the thing: you just don't shoot a property just to shoot a property. Walk through just to walk through. I'm sure, positive, 110% positive, when Ryan sat down with his creative team to walk through this listing and wanted to create a 60-second reel. Let's use our iPhone. Let's walk through this space, and let's obviously use a gimbal because we want the footage to be smooth. But let's hop on this trend where everybody is doing these like 2-time or 1-time sped up videos, and then also let me add a voiceover to walk people through what they're seeing, and then also to add the emphasis that this is what $175,000 will get you in the Hamptons, which is a modern beach luxury. And also let's make sure that this video is also user friendly by adding captions, our captions with our brand fonts, things like that. Just the small things, right? And so the next example, because I only kept it 2, I'm not gonna go down deep in the weeds because sometimes I think I want to give you 4. You don't need 4, you just need 2. Okay, was this other creator or this business owner that I came across, which is K Build Design, and this one they put a lot of effort in. I see speed ramps with the drone footage, 120 frames per second for more speed ramp footage on the ground, tempo transitions from raw construction to the finished product. And so the purpose-driven visuals, I gotta read my notes here because it was a lot, and I want to make sure that I don't, mess this up, because also I've seen this video like in 3 different ways. Like I've seen the emphasis on the backyard and then just emphasis on the house. So K Build Design keeps pushing this house because it is a beautiful house, wherever the heck it is, but it's beautiful. Anywho, so there's a combination of drone footage for the establishing shots, and then there's camera footage for the detail shots. There's creating transitions with the tempo of the trending audio on social media, so the content is more engaging. So let me just dive into that just like a little bit. I feel like this is like something like once you get into editing, and you start seeing things with this like creative eye, you notice like finding a song that has a lot of like beats, like prominent like beats, you can make hard cuts to those. Like I'm snapping my fingers, but like cut, 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 cut. And so me personally, any video that like is like a high paced video, I try to find music that has a lot of cut, 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 cut. So then I can make the cuts, and it just adds more emphasis on the cuts instead of trying to use like, a cross dissolve, a fade to black in between each clip instead of just doing hard cuts on the beat, on the beat, on the beat, on the beat, on the beat. So this video doesn't do it a lot, but every transition that's like of big emphasis is transitioning from that beat. Every time there's a pop, 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 there's a transition to a different shot, and that shot is like makes sense from the next shot. I'm trying not to like go down into the weeds with this, but like for instance, like when I see it, like one of the transitions was definitely one that they made an emphasis on was like, let's see here, I'm scrolling through it as it is just like there's this they call it like a parallax shot. So it's a parallax shot going around the basketball goal into near the pool, and then there's another transition like where you can see the little golf course that they have back there, and then another parallax shot coming from the roof to like the basketball court that's half basketball court, half tennis court, and then like another shot where it's clearly from the ground and they're using foreground, using the trees to give it this like cinematic look. And man, as I said, they went in on these 60 seconds, okay? So, and then you go, like I said, from just transitioning with the tempo and the trending audio, because also trending audio does help, growth, or reach with your videos. But also speed ramping the footage to put emphasis on certain highlight design features in the backyard. So, like, there was a lot of speed ramps when it came to, the little, I don't know, what are these called? Like fire, they're not fire pits, but they like, I'm not a designer. I'm not in a backyard like this, but let me try my best to explain this for those who are not watching on YouTube, but they are listening to the podcast. It's these little fire pits that are like on these stands, and they're pretty dope, and they make a point to speed ramp and slow it down to put more emphasis on it. And so they do that a lot. There's a lot of slowing, speeding up, slowing down, so you get the gist. And also to the emphasis on the before and after, the daytime and nighttime look of this backyard through the editing, Like, for instance, there's a shot in this 60-second reels where it shows how the yard unfinished, and then it, on tempo, transitions into it being finished. The same shot angle, which I think they do probably a little bit of it's called a motion blur or a Koch burn or something like that. I'm not going to go deep into the weeds with the trend, but there's a way to like blend it. It's like a blending mode or something, so that it's like a clean transition between the unfinished and then the finished. And then they go into showing you what it looks like during the day. And then they also transition another motion blur, another like edit to show you what it looks like at night. Chef's kiss, okay? Chef's kiss. And here's the thing. The clear and effective message is just a client who wanted to host parties in their backyard and the name of the company that made it a reality and where to find them if you want to host parties in your backyard one day soon, if you got money like that, because it's a big backyard. But once again, you got one person here that was using their iPhone, and then you had another one that had used drone footage, I wouldn't say they used cinema cameras, but they definitely used expensive camera equipment. They knew how to edit. They, used the music trending audio at the time to help with the edit. But either way, either one of these guys, you know, their content works. And if I go here on social media and kind of look them up to see how many views or impressions they had, I mean, like that's kind of just like why I want to make this point about, you know, what is high quality, because even though Ryan Serhant definitely uses, you know, kind of dips into cinema with his YouTube videos, as far as his social media on Instagram, it's just iPhone footage. Usually it's him just filming himself, you know, walking around downtown New York. Well, I feel like New York is all downtown, but you know what I mean. I'm from Tennessee, so give me a break. But, you know, just out of nowhere had an idea and just wanted to share it on social media and wanted to be more personal, less polished, less overproduced. But still, like, I just want you to see that either one, you could invest in the cinema camera if you have the money, invest in the drones, you know, or have the iPhone, use the gimbal, iPhone gimbal, and still see the same results because you had a purpose behind it and a clear and effective message. So let me see here. This one has 200,000 likes. Hey, they pinned it 5 million. So K Build Design, that video that I posted has 5 million views on Instagram, and they pinned it because you should definitely pin that for sure. And then Ryan has because I was going, I saw a lot of videos. He has a lot of videos because he's consistent, which I need to work on that. Just show up and just post, you know what I'm saying? There we go. I was about to say, he doesn't freaking, and his iPhone one got 188,000 views. Not 1.9 million, but got 189. But there's another one I just saw that was shot on iPhone and got 1.9 million. So anyway, but like I said, my whole point with these two, because I see, especially, and I wanted to make a point to talk about realtors because I see so many different styles of walkthroughs of, you know, filming a home. There was one that I saw where he just had looked like an entry level drone, and also just kind of like beginner maneuvers with the drone, and then just use an iPhone and use some trending music. But I mean, he's selling $1 million homes in Colorado, so I mean, you have to do a lot. But still, all I have to say is, whatever your niche is, whatever it is you're selling, whatever service you're selling, if you have a purpose behind the visuals and you have a clear and effective message, it's going to be high quality. It's going to be high quality. So please don't feel like you have to go out and buy a cinema camera. You can use your iPhone. If you know how to use it right and get the shots and the angles that you need, you can use your iPhone. As long as there's a purpose behind it and a clear and effective message, you have high quality content. Now, why post high quality content? Why post it? Before you can learn how, though, you should know why behind creating high quality content on social media to grow your brand and your business, okay? So, creating content, let me say it this way. Do you want to create content so people can know, like, and trust your brand and business? Or do you want to create content to grow a large following quickly, and then probably your goal is to sell to them later on, okay? So I'm giving this example because this is just from my personal experience. I think that is worth the investment, not because this is what I do. I love filmmaking, and I love to create cinematic content as well as professional work. But even if I didn't, even if that's not something that I'm doing as a career, as a business, owning a video production company, I still see the value in investing in high quality visuals that have a purpose, and also to clear and effective messaging using cinematography, using lighting and things like that. And so I wanted to say in the beginning when I made that first point of like what's high quality, as long as it has purpose driven visuals with a clear, effective message, and it's going to be high quality, you just know that you can start, and you can start to make money by using your cell phone. But then there should come a point, depending on where you are in your business, to invest in a camera, to invest in someone professionally that can edit and things like that. Because you see commercials, on TV, especially like, Publix, Kroger, Target, Walmart, Nike, Adidas, those brands, none of them are shooting anything with their iPhone. No one's shooting with the local videographer that's only charging $300. And I say that respectfully because I see so many lawyers do that, but it's like, it's a lawyer. If I need you, sure, why not? But they never care about it. It's bad. It's bad. I think I've only seen one lawyer actually invest in their marketing, in their messaging, and that is literally the biggest law firm in the country and maybe the world. Is there a correlation there? Probably. Definitely, but it's the ones that have the money that don't think it's important. But it's fine. You don't have to think it's important. Do you, boo-boo? But I don't think it's important. I know it's important, and I know it's going to grow my business, and that's why I'm going to invest. But I want to always put emphasis on, please don't let that stop you right now, because you do have to get started. You do have to make money, and then you reinvest. Then you make sure that you have the messaging and the branding behind it, okay? So that's my little spill, but let me make sure I stay on topic here, okay? And let you know that if you want people to know, like, and trust you, then posting at least once a week works for you, especially if you are really focused on the purpose-driven visuals and also the clear and effective messaging, because I'm not going to lie, it's hard. It's very, very hard, because I feel like I was really focused more on the visuals than I was on being clear and effective with my messaging. And they go hand in hand. They work together. I can't really have one without the other. I mean, I feel like I can get somewhere. I can make a dent, but as far as growing and scaling, I need both. I can't have one without the other. And so if you're playing the long game like me with social media, with your content, then you're going to have to take time with the purpose-driven visuals and the clear and effective messaging. And that really, honestly, realistically is only posting once a week on any platform, whether that be Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, YouTube, once a week. I do have short form content that I kind of cut up, but still it's just easier and less stressful for me to just post once a week, just have those one clips ready to go, especially now since I hadn't been able to batch record or do anything that I want to do in the month of July. I'm just living off of, honestly, like the 12 clips that I got from like episode 14 to just share once a week on social media so that I can still be consistent and still provide high quality content. But if you want to grow a large following quickly, then posting at least 3 times a week will work for you. But I don't know what that looks like. But like I said, though, if it has purpose behind it, and you have effective messaging and you're just using your iPhone and you're keeping it simple as a crowbar, then it's going to work. It really is going to work. And I hope, like, I'm not, like, contradicting myself here, because, like, I feel like I have to talk a little, like, get a little bit deep about it. So let me just do it for a second so I make sure I don't lose nobody and I don't contradict myself here. But I'm just saying there's a certain point in your business when you want to grow, when you want to scale, when you want to make more money, when you want to charge more and you want to work less because you're providing more value. Then that's when you invest in the branding. You invest in, making yourself look professional, look legit, which we know branding is way more than just a logo and a design. It's who you are. It's what you do. But still, though, all that works together. But that takes time to get there, and you're not going to get there in a year starting your business. You're going to get there in 2 years starting your business. I've been in business for 6 years now, and I have been filming and photographing for over 9 years now. And so I'm still learning. I feel like I just finally peaked last year, really, if I'm being completely honest. Like, I feel like I have a good idea of what it is that I'm doing, who it is that I serve, what jobs I like to work on, what jobs I don't like to work on, who I like to work with and who I don't like to work with. And so that's what I'm trying to get that point across and not lose it and not, contradict myself. But, to start, I'm going to keep hammering that point down just to start. If you got purpose-driven visuals and you got a clear, effective message, use your iPhone. It's more personal anyway, but there comes a point, though, when you want to make more, when you want to grow, you got to improve. You got to do better. Because the same tactics that were used in 1993 to start a business and to scale it and have 4 locations is not what you can do in 2024, especially if you want to stand out, because these people do not care and they shouldn't. It's business. So if I'm going to invest in my visuals, I'm going to invest in my branding, my messaging, make sure everything's clear, everything works together. We know what our purpose is. We know who we serve. I'm going to do it because I'm not here for the next 5 years to make a quick buck and leave. I'm here for the next 50, and I'm passing it down to my kids, which is going to be a while before I have them. So there's that. Now, anyway, off my soapbox. I'm away from my rabbit hole, okay? But purpose-driven visuals and clear, effective messaging is a feat. It's a feat to accomplish by yourself while wearing multiple hats as a small business owner. And like I said before, I'm speaking from experience, from my current struggles of trying to create content. And I figured out that what works best for me is just posting once, okay? So knowing that, my personal goals is to play the long game. That's why I am, and for future clients and for partners, to know, like, and trust me through my brand and my business is why I'm just gonna post once a week. Why I'm able to post once a week and why I'm able to sleep at night, just being able to post once a week because I'm here to grow my brand, but at my pace, and also to knowing that people always come across your content, the right ones that see it, that give you a job now, versus the brand deals and the partnerships that can happen later on. So that's my 2 cents. Do with that what you will. Okay, so know your why, and create accordingly, and you'll never be burned out. You'll never be overwhelmed if you know why you're doing this and how long it's going to take, or how willing you are to wait for however long it takes. Okay, so how to create consistently high quality content, okay, is creating, I think it's just saying this, answering this one question for yourself, is creating this piece of content, whether short form or long form, is it feasible? You got to ask yourself this question, is it feasible? Whether short form or long form, is it feasible? So I'm inspired by creators that honestly just go out and like vlog. I love vlogs. I love vlogs. I love vlogs that incorporate, like, for instance, Nick Bare, obviously big Nick Bare fan here. I've been following his YouTube for quite some time. Nick Bare, I just got done watching the video earlier this morning. I love how Nick incorporates his life, his runs, his business, inspiration, how he runs his business, and just everything all in a vlog, which means that he has to go everywhere. He has to film everything, and it's great. Now, of course, he has a team now to do it. He doesn't do it, just does it himself, but he has a team behind it. Here's the footage, go edit it, make it great, right? But I love vlogs like that. I remember, which Maddie has, I think, retired. He might come back, but he might not. But Maddie Haboya, who would go around teaching, or doing a review out around Canada, which I thought was always great, or just on a trip to Dubai, or on a trip somewhere in the Azores or in Iceland, reviewing the FPV drone by DJI, or another drone just by DJI in general. And I just thought that was like so cool, and I'd love to do that one day. I want to do that. But then I realized that my anxiety will not allow such a thing. He, whatever, will not let that happen. I cannot film in public places. And then also to take the time to find secluded public places is just not, I just don't have time to do that. And nor do I have time right now to overcome my fears and not care that people care about me or looking at me filming in public places. I just don't have the time. So it's not feasible for me. For now, I'm not giving up on filming out in public places. I'll do it one day, and I'll try to practice and get better at it. But for right now, we got to get this content out. We gotta get consistent. We gotta find what is the daggum word? We gotta find Dadgum. It's because I'm hot and I can't think. We gotta find momentum. And so I'm not gonna stay on the fact that I can't freaking film outside. It is what it is. One day, just not today. And so filming here in the studio, filming in paid locations, filming at my house works. Yes, I feel like I'm limited creativity wise, but you know what? I feel like when you're able to work with a little, then when you're able to, have an opportunity to work with a lot, you're going to get a lot done. But also, too, if you're ever in a position where you don't have a lot of tools, you don't have a lot of space, you know what to do with a small space and with one lot. So I'm looking at it positively. I'm definitely looking at it positively. But yeah, that wasn't feasible, so I couldn't do it right now. Another thing, I said in the previous podcast episode, why I no longer have a co-host, because it was no longer feasible, having to make sure that, our schedules align. And then when something happened, we couldn't film, and then I was behind. It was a whole ordeal. And it prevented me from being consistent and showing up and getting the reps in and the practice in. And so it was more work than it was beneficial. So co-host wasn't feasible anymore. I don't want to say, like, it sounds like very intense to be like, gotta get rid of, drop that dude. Like, no, just wasn't feasible. It wasn't, I just don't have, I'm trying to get this done. And then, also too, with having a co-host, but then also seeing other, YouTubers or other podcasts where they have multiple camera angles, that wasn't feasible for me, because I'm the one who has to go in the editing platforms or the editing software and cut through all these different camera angles, or pay the extra $45, $60 a month for AI to go through and cut through these camera angles and sync all the audio up. So the time that was taking, the money that I was spending wasn't feasible. So I had to get rid of it. I had to drop it, okay? And then also, too, not only with the multiple camera angles, but trying to film or record podcasts that were over 30 minutes, that were hour long plus, took a lot of time to edit, took a lot of time to go through. That was no longer feasible. So now we keep it to 30 minutes. Of course, today is not one of those days, but I'm aware, I guess, probably will go back home when I get done with this and just make sure I make my cuts when I know I was just being extra and, whatever. So it's a little bit over, but still, our 30-minute podcast, not only was that more time for me to try to film it or edit it later in post and pay more money for, an AI system to go through and make the different cuts with the different camera angles, but it was taking up so much space because I shoot in 4K. It was taking up so much space on my camera, on my memory cards, and these memory cards are not cheap, okay? These memory cards cost $600, I think, $300, $200. It depends on how much gigs you got. I think I got 126 gig. They're not cheap, and I don't want to buy another daggone memory card to keep up with all this stuff, all this footage that I got to go through. And then it's like slows down your computer. Thankfully, my computer is a workhorse. She's a beast. Yeah, she's a she now. She's a beast, okay? And she never slows up. She never freaks out. I don't have that color wheel of death. It's great. I love her. But I don't want to put more on her than she can bear, because she didn't ask for that. She didn't ask for that. So, yeah, it wasn't feasible. Had to get rid of it. All right? And then writing short phrases. If I can talk. Writing short phrases was more feasible than me doing dumb time, okay? Doing dumb things like writing out full paragraphs and scripts, I guess, I don't know, of these podcasts and of these YouTube videos. There's another reason why I haven't really been as consistent as I wanted to be, because I'm stupid. It is what it is. We got to own up to it sometimes. Sometimes we do dumb things, and that was a very, very dumb thing, and it took a YouTube video for someone to say, you don't have to write out word for word what you're going to say. Bullet points. Have a sentence. You know what you're talking about, and if you don't know what you're talking about, that's a problem. And you shouldn't be on here. And I respected that. I took that into consideration. I sat with that, and I was like, you're right. I do know what I'm talking about. I should, for the most part, stay on topic. and I just need a sentence, and then I can run with that, because obviously this comes from my brain. I have the experience. I know what I'm talking about. So it wasn't feasible doing dumb things. So we're no longer doing dumb things. And guess what? I'm outlining these episodes in like an hour, 2 hours top, 2 episodes. Because technically I think I go through like 4 or something. So your girl is going to be on it this month and for the rest of the year and my life, until I can outsource it to somebody else to edit these videos. So I can just do my thing, okay? So you're only going to know what's feasible is if you practice, if you show up, if you're consistent, so you can work out the kinks. Those are my kinks after doing this consistently for a year. And we're still getting better. We're still working out the kinks, but you're not going to know the kinks until you actually show up and do the thing. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to know the kinks until you show up and you do the thing and you get better and figure out that didn't work. I need a bag over here. I need to pack this up. I need to leave this out. I need to get, like right now, I just pretty much am about to sell all my old lighting gear. And now I'm investing in all Amaran. Okay, I got the 200X here. I got the 150C over here. I got a tube down here. All that I can use on my phone to make life just easier and more efficient, because it's just me, It's just me. And it's a lot. But we're going to get through it, because we're just going to get through it. We have no other options. Okay? And so, let me see. Did I go over what I wanted to go over? See, sometimes I even write these sentences and I realize when I go back through them, I'm like, oh, I already said that. And I said it even better. You see? Dumb time. We're off it now. We're doing great. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Creators Initiative podcast. If you found it helpful, like that button. Okay. All right. Never mind. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Creators Initiative podcast. If you found this episode helpful, please share with a friend, because sharing is caring. And if you're on YouTube, remember to push that like button, subscribe. And also, if you're listening on any of those lovely podcast platforms, I really don't know what you do, because I barely do it myself when I listen to podcasts. But what you should be doing, and what I should be doing, is leaving reviews. And I think you like it. You subscribe to it too on podcasts. You follow. It's different. I know. I'm a Apple Podcast girl. I'm not a Spotify girl, so I don't know what the heck y'all doing over there. Respectfully, I'm glad you like Spotify just like I like Apple. So follow, like, do what it is that you need to do to help grow this podcast, and send it to all your small business entrepreneurship friends who need to hear this stuff. Okay. And I hope you gain confidence and inspiration to show up your way and on your terms. I will catch you in the next podcast episode, because we're going out this year with a bang, our first year. Yeah. And I'm going to turn on the fan in between these episodes, because I am drenched and I can't think. So have a great day. Love you. Bye.